Oh, we live. Are we live? Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Kitchen Table Conversations, I don't know, season 2025. How's everybody been doing, man? I hope y'all have had a great Christmas, great holidays. It's so good to see y'all. We back, man. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I had to take a little break from y'all. Had to take a little break from y'all. But we back, man. We back with a vengeance. We back with a lot of great topics, a lot of great discussions coming up this year. We're going to look at all parameters of Tuscaloosa and West Alabama. So get ready, hold your horses, but get ready. Uh, hey, y'all see our new studio? We're in our new little studio over here. Shout out to King's Kitchen. Otis King and Willa King for allowing us to have this studio over here at Kings Royal Events, right off 501 Hargrove Road, Suite. I don't know what suite it is, but it's in it. It's in the thing. It's a great studio, a great place, man. Go holler at Mr. King, Mrs. King, if you want to host your event here at Kings Royal Event. It's a huge space. It holds close to 100 people. You can rent out for birthday parties, graduations, bar mitzvahs, whatever you want to do. You can rent it right here at King Event Center. So next week we'll have a commercial for them. We wouldn't prepare for that today, but be ready. Come over and check us out right here at King Event Center. And down the block, you can go to King's Kitchen. Hey man, some of the best food this side of the Mississippi. This down home soul food, comfort food, the best in the city. I guarantee it's King Kitchen, 501 Hargrove Road, right here in the first suite on the end. Check it out. Come get you something good to eat. Another shout out to my buddy at 1186. Man, this is when I say this is the best water God ever made, straight out the ground down in Otagoville, Alabama. Artesian well, 500 billion gallons of water. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I'm gonna say. But it's some of the best water God ever created. Well, it is the best water God created. So I love it. That's how we drink. Go get your case now at our Winn-Dixie locations and Piggly locations in West Alabama. Tonight, guys, listen, we got a great show. We're going to just get right into it. We got a great show. We know the election coming up. We just had the federal election, got that out of the way. We got what we got, right? So now we have the time for municipal local elections. Guys, we really need you watching this and listen. And you can ask questions in the chat, ask questions in the comment section. But this is very important. What we got coming up March 4th, 2025. We got our city council, we got our board of education, also a mayoral race. So you can listen to we're gonna have on this platform hopefully over the next 3 months. Everybody that's gonna be running or thinking about running or I got something to say about it from the city council and the board of education aspect of it. We want to get you informed. So ask your questions in the comment section. We're gonna bring them on in a minute. And we're gonna get to talking because we know that local elections is your most important election. It governs your everyday living, from traffic signs to road closures to right of ways to what comes to your city, what don't come to your city, how the education looks, what goes, what activities they have or what don't have, how they hire professionals on the board. Your city council also does a lot of different things about monies allocated to different districts, what come to your district, what don't come to your district. So we need you informed, asking questions. So on March the 4th, you can go vote for your future and not your friends. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with our first guest, Joe, Coach Eatmon. We'll be right back.
Good morning.
Basketball has always played a major role in my life. From my time as a young boy here at the Benjamin Barnes YMCA to my time as a college kid with hopes of a national championship. And then on to coaching my own college basketball teams to championships. A lot of life lessons I learned right here on the basketball court. I learned to make decisions under pressure when all eyes are on you. I learned hard work and that dedication, determination, and grit achieve success. I learned about teamwork and taking care of others. And as a coach, I learned that you must lead by example with honesty and integrity. I want to take these lessons with me to City Hall and be your District 1 representative. Our community's future depends on a leader who's respected by their peers, who fights for what matters to you, a leader that shows up every day, in every room, and for everyone. I'm Joe Eatmon. Join me and let's win.
You ready? Hey, welcome back, guys. We're here with our first guest. Listen, this guy's been a good friend of mine for a long time. I mean, everybody's a friend of mine, but a good friend of mine for a long time. I want to introduce you to some, but what did they say? Introduce to some to I don't know. Joe Eatmon, what's up, Joe? How you doing?
Appreciate you having me, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Come on, man. Listen, I've been out of practice, bro. It's been about a year since we did this, so but we getting back in the groove. So, Joe, we're gonna jump right into it, man. Our first question. Remember, guys, if you got a question, put in the comment section and we can try to get the question answered, okay? We're gonna jump right into it. My first question is, who is Joe Eatmon?
Joe Eatmon is a father. Joe Eatmon is a husband. Joe Eatmon is a believer. Joe Eatmon serves as Dean of Community Relations at Shelton State Community College. I've been in that role for about 3 years now. Before then, I coached college basketball for 15 years. Had a long track record of success at Shelton. We won 5 championships in 6 years. I was coach of the year 5 out of those 6. But you know, mainly I'm just a grinder, man. I'm a worker. All my life, people recognize me as a coach, but they don't realize I was a janitor. I picked up trash. I was the frozen food manager at Winn-Dixie. I was the associate manager at a Foot Locker. So, man, I've been working my whole life, man, and I work for everything I've got. Didn't come from a lot, but man, it just bottom line, I'm a worker.
Okay. You was a frozen food manager at Winn-Dixie?
Frozen food manager at Winn-Dixie, right down 69.
Man, that's why them freezers always start working. No, but that's good, man, to see that you had so many irons in the fire. You worked your way up. So the first question I got, and these questions are questions that I talked to a group of people about, and they really want to know from the candidates what they got to say about these different questions. So my first question is not to give too much information away, but what specific plans do you have to improve access to resources in underserved community in District 1, and how do you ensure these plans are implemented effectively?
Say that question one more time.
Okay, all right.
That was a loaded question.
Okay, all right. Well, let me break it down. What plans do you have for District 1?
Well, right now, I think one plan that I have for District 1, you know, when you look at the 7 pillars that I have on my website, you know, the first one's always education. Because, you know, I've got an education background. Of course, my mother worked in Tuscaloosa City Schools for 27 years.
Shout out to Ms. Eatmon.
My sister worked in Tuscaloosa City School for 22, 23 years, something like that now. Sister. So, you know, education has always been a part of my family. It's always been a big part of what we do. But if you look around the state and you look at any thriving city, there's one thing they have in common. All of them have thriving education systems. And it's a proven fact. If you looked at the statistics, if you improve education, you lower crime. If you improve education, you also improve infrastructure, because now more people want to move to your city. Now you got a bigger tax base to do more with. So I think, you know, education is a big piece of what I want to do. And I know hot button topic right now is crime. You know, we're going to support the Tuscaloosa Police Department. We're going to put resources around them. And we also got to support our communities. I mean, if you look at it, you know, I do a lot up in Birmingham as well. And, you know, went to a city council meeting up there a couple of months ago, and they had a judge. And the first thing she said was 92% of the young people that she saw for homicide, that committed a homicide, she's seen at least two times in her courtroom. Oh, wow. 81% of the victims she's seen at least once. So when we talk about crime, it's a matter, if you look at those statistics, how do we stop it at the first time? How do we stop it when the police pick them up with the gun the first time, but they don't commit? How do we stop it when they get caught with the small theft charge the first time? How do we put resources around them to where it doesn't escalate to where because if you look at it, if you look at most homicide, the person that's committing the homicide, how many times have you seen them that was their first interaction with law enforcement? I don't know very many. So, you know, we've got to spend money on the front end with stuff like you do with mentorship. We got to spend money on the first end with youth services. We got to spend money on the first end with job opportunities and job training for these young people to give them hope and give them something else they can do other than.
Okay. You talked about infrastructure a little bit, but I'm gonna back up a little bit. Now we know we have a high crime rate when it comes to our youth in Tuscaloosa, and a high rate of youth unemployment when it comes to Tuscaloosa. How do you plan to kind of address those issues if you so-called get elected?
Well, two things when we talk about youth jobs. One, we've already got the infrastructure with it through West Alabama Works. They've got a teen portal where teens can specifically go to apply for jobs, to hire teens in the city. We've got to do a better job of exposing them to that. We got to do a better job of helping them with that. You know, you also got summer programs like temporary merchant service that the city is funding right now. I think we've got to expand that. Not only should we have summer jobs, we should have year-round jobs for these young people to keep them active, keep them busy. You know, as well as, you know, I talked about youth services too, right now. And I didn't realize this until about maybe 3 years ago, that if you look at all our youth programs here in the city of Tuscaloosa, most of them, when it comes to sports, most of them go from the age 4 to the age 12 or 13. And then if you look at 13, everything just drops off. If they don't make that middle school team, everything just stops for them. So you mean to tell me we keep hands-on kids from the time they're 4 to the time they're 13, and then we let them go at the most critical age if they don't if they don't have something else to grasp onto. So we got to figure that out. You know, the first thing I did 3 years ago when I found that out, I donated $2,000 out of my pocket to the Benjamin Barnes YMCA for them to start a 14 through 16-year-old league. League filled up in 2 days. You know, it was that many kids that were interested. I started the Dream City Basketball Academy, which when we started that academy, we started with almost 200 kids that were interested.
Down at the
McDonough Houston. So right now, you know, when we talk about solutions, when you talk about work, I've been involved in this work for a long time. You know, I'm not just starting this work just because I'm getting in politics. I'm getting in politics because I've been doing the work.
Yeah, I understand, man. With that dream, that Dream Basketball Academy, that was huge, because I remember coming and speaking and talking with the kids and stuff. We had that going, and a lot of youth need that. Like you said, at that age 13 to 18, that's when we missing them at. That we missing them there. And once they make the high middle school team or something like that, I can't afford AAU ball or AAU league.
And honestly, Rodney, some of them, they're not. It's not because of talent they're not making the. You know, we had some kids in that YMCA league that would have started on most middle school teams. It was just issues that they had where they couldn't get to practice, or they had these, you know, they had an attitude problem. They didn't have a lot. They didn't have the grades. So we got a lot of kids like that we've got to give something to that they can do, man.
Now, moving on, we got a lot of infrastructure projects going on in District 1 with the Jack Warner Parkway expansion, the Western Riverwalk expansion, the Savings Center coming, and that's your district? Yeah,
that is.
All that's coming. So what do you envision? And these one of these questions I'm throwing at you.
Yeah.
What do you envision for more infrastructure improvements, and not with just elevate, and roads and stuff like that, but infrastructure when it comes to I can't even talk today. Inequities. What is it? Inequities. Yeah. You know what? Disparities in housing. What do you envision for that? Or what do you see that can be done in those areas?
Let me say a couple of things about what you said first about the previous and current infrastructure programs. You know, the Jack Warner MLK Parkway expansion. You know, a lot of people look at that as a Tuscaloosa City project. It's not. That was a Tuscaloosa County Road Improvement Project. And they, you know, that commission, they did a really good job. You know, they also working on 69. They're also working in Northport. that's a partnership between the county, the city, and the city of Norfolk. When you look at the Western Riverwalk, that project was introduced in 2013 and funded in 2020. So those projects, honestly, Rodney, even though that they're just getting done, they've been on the books for a while.
I was on the Elevate committee. I was on all the benchmarking trips. I did all that. So but that's been in process for a long time.
When you look at infrastructure in District 1 right now, now if you're talking about development, or you're talking about
infrastructure when it comes to housing, the housing market, the disparities in our communities, especially in District 1.
When you look at housing in District 1, only a little bit under 40% of District 1 is actually residential. The rest is institutional, commercial. So only, a little bit less than 40%. The biggest problem in District 1 right now that I see, Rodney, that less than 20% of people in District 1 own their homes. It's somewhere between 18 and 20%, which sets it up to be a transient community where people rent, and there's nothing against that, because I lived in 6 different houses in District 1 before I graduated high school. So we were habitual renters as well when I was coming up. But that causes, when you have that low of a home ownership rate in the district, then that creates some of the issues that you're gonna have in the district, innately. I think the city and I think leadership in District 1, I think where they got it right with the mayor's improvement plan to improve the district with houses, because there were some houses that were torn down that needed to be removed. Blight needed to be removed. But what leadership should have been doing as well is, okay, now that we've torn down these houses, we've removed the blight. What do we put there? Because what's happened is you've removed blight, but you've created more blight, because now you got trash being thrown on, you got overgrown grass, you got 18-wheelers being parked on lots where houses were. You got people with 5-6 cars, parked on lots inside our district, when it's basically killed the established neighborhood, because we've been so focused on finding new areas for growth, which there's nothing wrong. We need new rooftops. We need new areas for growth when it comes to housing. But at the same time, we've got to protect our established neighborhoods as well. I've been out and I've talked to people in the neighborhoods. One thing that they've said is, these overgrown lots, these people from out of town come in and buy these houses in short-term rental. Nobody. Right now, I walked the neighborhood today with 20 houses, and it were probably 9 rental houses. It was 9, like not even rental houses, just game day rentals in their house with nobody was living in. And one of the ladies, it kind of hurt me, because she said, I can remember when I moved here 30 years ago, I had neighbors. Now I don't have neighbors.
Airbnb is an Airbnb house. Yeah.
So now she's like, I don't have neighbors. So that's something we've got to, I agree. We've still got to go out and find new areas for growth for new homes, but we also got to address the issues of the boarded up houses in our district. We got to address the issues of empty lots in our district. We've got to address those issues, because families will move to our district, to some of the established neighborhoods, because our neighborhoods aren't as bad as people really make them out to be. So we've got to protect our established neighborhoods while going out. An infrastructure issue I see in District 1 is also lighting. I think the lighting is really, really bad in the district. And even some places where we have lights, you got the yellow lights, you got the dim lights. So,
the light I had in 1975, run them down the street when it came on. The light is still at my mama's house.
So we've got to do a better job of doing a cost analysis to see how much it would cost to change those out to LED lights. So it really will light up our neighborhoods. That's another issue when it comes to crime. Statistics show the more lit your neighborhood is, the less crime you're going to have. The more cameras you have, the less crime you're going to have. So all those are infrastructure issues that we have. Now, we've got some opportunities for growth in the district, because we've got a lot of undeveloped land in the district as well. If you look at the 120-acre country club property, the 20-acre pecan orchard property, Stan Pate's property, even, a lot of people don't know this, but the airport's even part of District 1. So if you look at the undeveloped land around the airport, all those are opportunities for growth. But I don't want to lose sight of the everyday residents in our established neighborhoods. chasing after new development as well, which we're going to do that. New development's going to come, but we got to protect our established neighborhoods as well.
Yeah, that's crazy you said about the light, because when I was checking on my mother's light bill and stuff after she passed, getting all this stuff done, the lady asked me, she said, do you want to keep the outside light on? I said, well, ain't that a city light? She said, no, that's Alabama Power light. Yeah. So you had to basically pay for a light to be outside of your.
Well, I mean, you can even look at our main roads like MLK. You got a light pretty much on every block, but you still can't see at night when you go down there. It's still dark. So those are issues we got.
When you cut down 19th Street, 18th Street, Short 7, you can't see. You're right. You can't see. All right. One last question. We got any questions in the chat? Okay, give it to me. My new producer, y'all. You supposed to say you're the producer. You supposed to ask the question. Ain't that how it go, Joe?
Yeah, that's how it go.
Yeah. It's from Woodrow, Washington.
They can't hear you. You gotta talk up.
Oh, it's from Woodrow, Washington. He said, would you be in favor of giving a raise to the retirees of the Tuscaloosa Fire and Police? We haven't gotten a raise in over 10 years.
Hey, Woodrow, my friend, brother. Why you want to?
Woodrow looking out for himself.
Looking out for himself, man. Come on, Woodrow.
I got you, Woodrow. I got you. One of the pressing issues right now, really, with recruitment and retention with fire and police, is, which I think actually now fire is already on RSA 1, but police isn't. So that's a big push that they're saying is going to help with recruitment. And we want to give them all the tools they need to be successful. I think last time I checked, we were 20 some officers down below what we got. So we've got to get back up. But as far as retirees, when it comes to the city, and I don't know which, honestly, Woodrow, I really can't answer your question because I don't know which retirement plan you all are on. If you all are on state retirement, that will be up to the state officials. Now I would have to look at it and see if it is a city thing, what we can do. But if it's if they on RSA 1, that will be up to the state retirement system on whether they got a raise or not.
Okay, well, Woodrow, we hope that answered your question. All right, Joe, going almost to the end. Now, we know in district, what I've seen, this is a question somebody asked me to ask you, and I'm going to ask every candidate that comes on here. When it comes to public access and public transportation, we see that a lot of areas all across the city will have these trolley stops, but it's just a sign.
Yeah.
How are we going to address that?
Transportation, well, when we talk about access to anything, we talk about access to the workforce, we talk about access to education, transportation comes up in every single conversation. I was in a chamber meeting today where transportation was coming up, not just in rural, but in local as well. I definitely think, looking at, and I don't know the exact routes that they run, but I definitely think West Tuscaloosa is an area where there needs to be more routes. And whatever that funding source is, whatever that funding looks like, because if you look at it, we've got a community that's a lot of people in our district don't have cars, and they depend on public transportation to get to work. They depend on public transportation to get to doctor's appointments. So, I think that's something we definitely got to address. There are different ways we can address it. You can address it through grants and vouchers. You can address it through funding through the public transportation system. So I think there's a matter of just sitting down at the table and looking at the routes and seeing what the community needs are when it comes to public transportation. One thing in my plan is I want to make sure as well that the entire District 1 is either walkable or bikeable. And I think that would help. I think if you look at even our sidewalks, you got a lot of outdated sidewalks. You got a lot of sidewalk places that need sidewalks. But if you look at a district like 5, Kip Tyner, they just got $19 million for sidewalks. So, I think that's kind of important for our district as well, for it to be walkable and bikeable. But when it comes to public transportation, when it comes to city buses, looking at those routes and seeing the timing of those routes, I think a study needs to be done to see what's the peak times, and then fund it accordingly to the community's needs. And honestly, right now, I wouldn't know, the exact times and funding sources for it, but I would say it's a need and it needs to be funded. And we need to find out what's most beneficial, to the residents of our district when it comes to, even when you're talking about handicap access to buses. You know, how many handicap buses that we have, or we've got somebody in the district in a wheelchair that needs to get to the doctor. You know, do we have other programs like Easter Seals and other programs that will come out? So I think we've got the resources there to get our district where it needs. It's just a matter of coordinating those resources to meet our community needs.
All right, especially I like that bikeable and walkable, because I see a lot of kids when they leave West Lawn, especially, they walk on those sidewalks, but the road access is like right there on the side of the sidewalk. Maybe need to extend those roadways and put a bike, like they have in the big other cities where they have a bike lane, a walk lane, so those cars won't be close to those.
I mean, that's a big issue, because if you look at, you know, kids, over 50% of our kids in our district walk to school. They walk to school. So we got to make sure that they're getting there safely. And then you look at attendance in school, you know, could that be a barrier to our attendance in school? Because parents don't feel safe allowing their students to walk and they can't get up. So, you know, all those are things that we got to address that you know, make our community a thriving community.
All right, we got any more chat questions?
Woodrow commented and said that police and fire is private pension.
Okay. Well, you know, with police going to RSA, now I'm assuming fire is going to go to RSA too. So, and I don't know if retirees again would. I don't know if retirees are going to come on to the RSA too. I don't know how that will work, but if they come on with the RSA retirement, you know, city's getting ready. They're finding, I think it's like $100 million right now is going to cost to convert all fire and police over to RSA. So I think once those kick over to RSA, some of those problems may fix themselves.
Okay. Well, Woodrow, I hope that answered your question.
Woodrow, we're gonna get you some more money, man. Bottom line, we're gonna get you
worry
some
about
more
your
money.
pocketbook. Raise the price of the wings 10 cents. You get your pension.
He said we won't.
Okay,
You won't.
Well, we ain't gonna talk about that now. We talk about that later. Any more questions? All right, guys. Listen, Joe. What I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna scoot out the way. You're gonna scoot over here, look directly to the people, and tell them why should they vote for you? All right. Go ahead.
All right, residents of District 1. Like Rodney Pelt said, you've heard, I'm Joseph Eatmon. You know, I think right now District 1 is at a critical point. You know, I think either District 1 is going to improve now, or in 4 years it'll be too late for District 1 to improve. We're going to set ourselves back. I really think it's time to move forward District 1 with visionary leadership that's going to be there for you, leadership that's going to be engaged, leadership that's going to be there for you. You know, District 1 deserves a leader that's going to show up every day in every room for everyone in the district. And that leader is me. So I hope on March 4th, District 1, that you will consider voting for me, Joe Eatmon, for City Council District 1.
All right. Appreciate you, Joe, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll be right back with our next City Council candidate, Eric Gaines.
Need a little bit of juice and I got it.
Here you go. There's the plug down here.
Hey, we back, guys. Listen, man, Joe Eatmon, great guy. I'm not endorsing anybody on this platform. All I can say is don't vote for your friends, vote for your future. You heard everything he said. If you think he's a man for you, make sure you go vote March 4th. All right, next, we're going to have our next candidate, District 6 candidate for City Council, Mr. Eric Gaines. Another good friend of mine. I've been knowing him for a long time. This is his platform. We'll be right back.
Good morning. My name is Eric Gaines. Today I'm announcing my candidacy for City Council in District 6. We're standing on the corner of Veteran Memorial Parkway and Mayfield. To my left is the Mayfield community. Right behind me is the pedestrian bridge. Here we are standing on the pedestrian bridge that connects District 6 to District 5 that crosses Veteran Memorial Parkway. Our platform is real simple. I want the same thing you want for your home and family. Number one, safety. We have to have a safe, not just a safe District 6, but a safe Tuscaloosa. The second thing is education. We did a survey, and in that survey we found out the more kids graduate, the better they do in school. Guess what crime does? It comes down. The last thing we'll discuss is
Hey, welcome back to Kitchen Table Conversation. We sitting here with District 6 candidate for Tuscaloosa City Council, Mr. Eric Gaines. What's up, Eric? How you doing?
everything is good, sir.
Right,
Appreciate you having me.
Good, man. I had two alphas in here. I don't know what to think. It's two of them up here, but it's still 1911, November 17th, Omega Psi Phi.
Okay.
Are you good with that?
Alphas, we the first. That's why you got us on here. You're doing great. You're doing good.
All right. Man, Eric, man, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for being a part of this show. This is our first show of the season. So we're gonna jump right into it, man. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So who is Eric Gaines?
Okay. Eric Gaines is a local resident of Tuscaloosa. I've been here now for a little over 30 years. Been married 26 years, 5 kids, 3 girls, 2 boys, and 2 of those kids are still in our school system here. We'll get more into that. I'm also a local real estate agent. Prior to me being a real estate agent, I was a mortgage banker at the Bank of Tuscaloosa and the Bank of America. The good thing about that, real estate and that finance background, I think have prepared me to run for city council. I'm also a local and licensed, can I show this pal?
No.
Bail bondsman. I had to show anyway. Bail bondsman. Okay.
Okay.
That does have some significance.
Oh, well, okay, we're gonna get into that too. We're gonna get into that. All right, first question is, Eric, like I told Joe, these questions I sat down and convened a little panel about questions that goes to not only city council but board of education members also. So we're gonna get right into it. You might have an education question in there, but we know that all marries with city council, right? Okay. So what ways can you improve the infrastructure or public service in not only in your district but other districts in the city?
Well, the infrastructure, I'm gonna talk just a little bit about District 6.
Okay.
District 6 kind of reminds me of one of my 5 kids, my daughter Brooke. She's the middle child. District 6 doesn't have a lot of commercial, it's mainly residential, not a whole, crime is low, so it's kind of like your middle child. Mm-hmm. District 6 sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. Rarely will you see us in the paper, or rarely will we make the news on something. But when you talk about the infrastructure in the city, the importance about being on city council is not just for your district. It's 7 districts in the city. So we're talking about, I think earlier Joe mentioned the system, the buses here. That's real important because there are people that don't have a driver's license. Some people just have a state ID. Some people don't have a car or means to get back and forth. That's important because it helps with our workforce. Being able to get to and from work, that person being able to work consistently, okay, one day they can later on decide to purchase a house. And a lot of what I say, of course, with me being a real estate agent, we want everybody to participate in home ownership. That increases your tax base and some other things.
Okay, now we talking about infrastructure. District 6. So for y'all, the ones that don't know, that pretty much everybody about District 1 West in Tuscaloosa, but they might not be as abreast to what District 6 consists of. So okay. What entails District 6?
I'll give them some real easy landmarks and boundaries. If you're on Skyland Boulevard, as soon as you pass Tuscaloosa Honda, Tuscaloosa Toyota, that's the beginning of District 6, where District 7 stops, all the way up to exit 77. I think that's Buttermilk Road, Bryan High School in that area. It would also be Woodland Forest, Woodland Hills, those communities where the VA hospital is.
On Loop Road.
On Loop Road.
Okay, so you said up by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. So is that Alpine Hills? Is that part of District 6?
Yes, actually, District 6, part of Alpine Hills, once you start heading east, is District 6. All the way up to exit 77. That's Buttermilk Road, where Bryan High School is. And then it goes as far, when you head towards Alberta, Veteran Memorial Parkway, right there where Mayfield, the VA hospital, and District 5, I think, begins.
Okay, so next question is, we know District 6, from my research, me being living in Tuscaloosa the majority of my life, since when I was in the military, District 6 is a older established neighborhood.
Yes, it is.
Community, a district. So what improvements do you see that you can bring to District 6, or the lack of improvements made? Not to cast nothing on nobody, not to talk about nobody, but what improvements can be done in District 6 when it comes to those older neighborhoods, or more established, let me say it that way, more established neighborhoods?
I would like to see 3 things done. The demographics have changed. A lot of the subdivisions, my subdivision that I currently live in, Monte Vista, and some subdivisions in Woodland Forest, do not have a sidewalk. That's important because we want pedestrians walking on the sidewalks, just as a safety issue. The other thing I like to mention, there's still a few blighted spots that need better lighting. Even if they have a light, it's still, like you mentioned earlier, that light from 1977, back when I was a little boy. And then the last thing is exit 76, where the pilot truck stop is, and exit 77, we could reach out to maybe some business. We need more restaurants there. And that takes a city council person that has a business relationship. My background from being in real estate, I worked with DJ Grant that currently owns Catch and Taste. We helped put that deal together. My good friend Davey Bishop that owns Control Climate, we helped him to secure. And these are businesses that aren't in District 6, but just give you, with my background in real estate, being able to put these kind of deals together. Instead of just sitting, waiting for something to happen, we're going to get out there and make it happen.
Okay, now we got a question about our youth. We got this question from a resident. Now, we know that our youth unemployment is high, and our youth violence is not rampant, but it's high too. Well, especially when it comes to theft, property theft, vehicle theft, different things like that. What can you do, or what do you envision changes that to be made to help our youth when it comes to issues that they have with violence and not only violence but theft, and also let's go to the educational point of it. Hope I ain't losing you. This is a long question. It goes to the truancy issues also.
Right. Okay. One of the main challenges with not just our city council, but just in government, is a lot of what they do is they're reacting to things. Now, the best way to deal with stopping crime is we need to have systems in place that prevent it. Okay. I'm gonna your company, Mind Changers. I like what you're doing. You don't know this, but you're preventing crime. And I went in the detention center with you, I think, 2 years ago, talking to those young kids. Part of me, and I'm gonna go back to this real quick, being a licensed bail bondsman, when I'm in the schools, talking to some of those kids that are in school suspension, had discipline issues, that their attendance is low, I can almost tell and predict their future. This kid is 16 or 17 years old, but one day I'm going to be getting him out of jail. So us being involved in the school systems, and not just me, but getting the community, maybe some retired teachers. Okay. And again, this is work. I've got kids now. My daughter is at Bryan High School. I've been a part of Eastwood Middle School's PTA. I've done some partnerships in adopted schools with Woodland Forest. This didn't just start. I've got 2 daughters that went there. I've already been putting in the work. The reason I mentioned that's important. There are other parents that think just like I do. I want the same thing they do, a safe community.
Safe communities and better schools.
Right.
So, okay, we got any questions in the chat? Okay, no questions. All right, give me. Joe talked about his 7 points. His 7 points. give me 3 of your points, or how many points you want to do to improve not only District 6 but Tuscaloosa as a whole.
Okay. I've got a total of 5, but I'm gonna give you 3.
Okay. Yeah, don't give it all away. Don't give
Yes,
it all
sir.
away.
The main one, again, going back to public safety, I think that's something we can definitely address and fix here. One of the things that I would like to do different is let's talk to the sheriff at Tuscaloosa County Jail right now. I think they had to expand it. Again, let's do some things, possibly some ankle bracelet, so that the jail overcrowding won't happen. Okay. The second thing we can do is, with that public safety piece, instead of the police only coming out or the deputy only coming out when something happens, let's get the community and law enforcement together at some events. That way the community can say, you know what, the police aren't that bad. And the police officers and law enforcement can say, hey, we're human just like you do, just like you are. We have kids that are in the school system. We're part of your community to protect and serve. The second part of that is, and this is real important with me being a real estate agent, economic development and affordable housing go hand in hand.
That's my
One of the
question.
issues, one of my main concerns is affordable housing. There are people, and I call this group of people the working poor. They're not financially poor. They earn maybe $15 to $20 an hour. But right now, they have a 700 credit score. There's plenty of grant money so these people can purchase a house, but it's hard to find some viable housing that's under $300,000 in Tuscaloosa. Everybody can't go and purchase a $500 million condo close to campus. Now, our city does have some grant funds available, and we want to just, make that more available to the city and the local real estate agents.
Do you think, because I know by sitting on Elevate and other committees with the city, we have a lot of workforce housing here in the city. I think it's a lot in District 6 and maybe in District Condell, in District 5 or District 7. A lot of workforce housing where people come in, may get a job in Mercedes, a management job somewhere, work at a university or something, and they come in, they rent for a year or two, then they leave and they keep renting. So what happens is the rental prices increase, right? And it price out locals, like you were just saying. That you got the credit score, you make the money, but you can't afford. You make $70,000 a year, but you can't afford a $500,000 house. That's all available. Right. So what can you do as a potential candidate, or when you get in office? What can you do to help bring down these rental costs, or is anything can be done?
It can be done. It would take the city government working with local real estate agents, developers, and builders. Everybody could come together. The city could say, okay, we're going to come in and offset some of the costs for the curb and gutter and the infrastructure. The developer could come in and say, you know what, we would normally charge this amount of money. We're going to do this at a discount to make this area, make this subdivision more affordable. Now, the good thing about that, when somebody purchases a house, that helps stimulate the economy, our local economy here. It also increases your tax base. By increasing your tax base, now that goes back to the education. The school systems can be better. One of the first things people ask is, if they move here from another city or another state, let's talk about, we want to be in the best school zones. I've got 5 kids, you got kids. We all want the best for our children. So that's real important.
Okay, before we go to the question, you talk a lot about education, and we work together on many projects when it comes to mentoring or going to the juvenile detention center, going to classes, different things. How does that marry? Because people really don't understand how the city council and the board of education works together. You're a candidate for city council. How can you marry that city council seat with your I don't want to say opponent, but your compadre, I guess, District 6 Board of Education? Okay. How can you marry that relationship together to improve the school?
Marvin Lucas is the current City Board of Education.
I didn't want to mention his name because
in District 6.
Been on the show yet, so I'm mentioning it.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And the city gives money. I can't remember what that dollar amount is, but the good thing about our city, they give the Board of Education so much money. every year that goes towards education. I would like to see City Council and the Board of Education work together more often in the community at the schools to continue that and increase it.
Okay, great. You got a question?
It was just gonna be about the real estate, about letting like first time homeowners and loopholes when it comes to getting all these grants and all these
From the city.
Yes,
from the
yes.
city
And that some of
got it
these
from the
things,
local banks.
some of these things are already there. The city already has these programs in place. It's going to take just the city of Tuscaloosa, maybe, and they've done this in the past. They've attended some of our meetings. The Tuscaloosa Association of Realtors, I think LaPerry came one time and spoke with us about some grants. And again, going back to increasing home ownership is very, very important, because we had some issues here over the past maybe 2 years. At the end of everybody's lease agreement, the landlord was increasing the person's rent.
Mhm.
And of course, if
Yep.
I'm a landlord, you want to make as much rent
Yep.
as possible. But when you have big corporate entities coming in your city, like Joe mentioned earlier, that are buying up some of the housing and just driving up the rent, that again should encourage people to go ahead and be homeowners.
Yeah.
And some of those people's properties got purchased. The owner sold it and they didn't get knowledge of it until they got the new owner knocking at their door or sent them a letter.
My granddaddy, my great granddaddy always just told me, you got to put it where the goats can get it. So I think the city does a great job with informational sessions when they go out. Just say, for instance, Tuscaloosa Bills or LaPerry's office go out, different offices go out and to have host little events. But you got to put it where the goats can get it. You got to get into these neighborhoods, hand out flyers, hand out leaflets, go to the schools when the parents in line, get their kids, put it in their hand so we can hear it. And I hope if you get the seat, Eric, that you'll be able to put information out from the city where the goats can get it. Okay,
Can I chime in
hey,
on
it's
that?
on you, baby.
Where the goats can get it, the goats, the people, the constituents.
We ain't calling no people
Well,
goats. That's just what my granddaddy used to say. Them, you know.
They understand that.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, everybody can't come to City Hall every Tuesday from 6 or 7, whenever City Council meeting is. Instead of waiting for the people to come to City Hall, I'm going to go to the people. We're going to bring City Hall to the people. And part of what I was going to say towards the end, but I'm just going to give them a tidbit of it now, is I want to be connected to the community, connected to all of District 6. What I mean by that, not just Woodland Forest and Woodland Hills. We also have right across the street from the food stamp office, I forget the name of that, Copper
Creek. Creek.
We
Yes.
also have, there's a
Foster
concern,
Gardens.
there's a health and safety issue in Foster
That's
Gardens.
my next question.
Instead of expecting those people, some of them going back to transportation, they don't have a car or means to come to City Hall. I'm going to go in the community. I was just there maybe 3 weeks ago doing a candlelight with your frat brother, Randy. Okay.
Don't mention people's names.
That's important. Thank you for that. Okay, I'll do better on the next show. Okay. But again, we have to be connected, because everybody can't come down to City Hall and state what their concerns or what their issues are. And when they do come to City Hall, I'm not going to be sitting there like I'm the judge and giving them a hard time. We're going to address their concerns.
All right. Like you were saying, Ramsey did the shout out to Pastor O'Daniel.
You can mention his name, but I can't.
Well,
I'm messing with
that's
you.
my friend, bro. That's my friend. He get a little leeway this time. But you say your crime is low in your district. That was my last. That's my snowball question. I'm gonna throw at you.
Okay.
You say your crime in your district is low, but we've seen increase. Well, not an increase, a steady stream of crime coming those 3 to 4 complexes on. What's that, Harrison Road? What road that is? That made by the food stamp. As the old folk call it.
I know exactly.
I can't that road. About. You got the creek, Copper Creek, whatever apartments. Then you got Forester Gardens. Right. Then you got I can't think of that, but you got the other apartments in the L shape right there. What can you do, or what do you need to see done, or what do you envision being done about those different complexes and the crime that happens and things happen over there? Because we know, and also the landlord insecurity is over there, because we know in Forest Garden we still got people over there with backed up toilets and sewage running into their sinks and all that kind of stuff. What can be done to stop some of that crime from coming in.
Part of the one of the main responsibilities of city council and local government is safety and health. Okay, I'm gonna talk about foster gardens for a second. There are a lot of apartment complexes that if an officer, to deter crime, an officer can live there free or at a discount. People just seeing a squad car, that deters crime. But that takes cooperation from whoever the landlord is. Whoever the current landlord is, I hope they're watching this, they need to make some serious improvements there.
Major change.
Yes. Now, part of what city council could do is put some pressure on that person to, hey, you need to do this, this, and this to address the concerns in that community. And yes, crime is high there, but I think when people feel better about where they live and the conditions they live in, you will see crime start to go down. And we do plan on going back out there at some point in time. Matter of fact, Rodney, I may even get you to, can we take this table and the lights out there and set
we can do it.
lot?
We can do it.
Okay.
We can do it.
Great.
You know, I love my people. I do it. We can do it. We can do it. So I'm a firm believer in that our landlords in those areas, especially those three specifically complexes, that need to be held accountable for the disparities they create in those neighborhoods. They don't think just because I give you a place to stay, you ought to be. But if my place is tore up, I ain't never done. You know, it's just a whole gamut of things that goes into that. And I think our landlords, and I think the city council has a lot of leeway to make things happen in those communities. So I hope that if you get in office, and when you get in office, that you be able to address some of those concerns from those citizens, make it happen, and not just listen to them, talk to them, and then 6 months later we having the same issue over and over again. Nothing happens.
That's on my first 100 days of things to do to get done.
All right. Any questions in the chat? All right. So I'm gonna do just like Joe, Eric. I'm gonna scoot out the way. You scoot over, talk to the people, tell them why they should vote for Eric Gaines, District 6.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Again, District 6. My name is Eric Gaines, candidate for District 6. 3 things are really important to me. One, we've talked about a lot tonight. That's public safety. Public safety, not just in our district, but throughout the community. The good thing about our district, even though crime is low, there's still 6 other districts that we have to work with. Again, going back to, I think Joe mentioned something about the police officers. We're doing a much better job, not if they change their retirement, with the police officers, but addressing safety doesn't start with TPD. It starts at home. And again, we're going to get law enforcement and the community to do a better job at working together to prevent crime. The second thing we want to talk about real quick before we get out of here is education. Again, I've already been putting in the work at Woodland Forest Elementary School, at Eastwood Middle School, and currently at Bryan High School. Matter of fact, Bryan High School is one of the real estate companies that I'm with. They're one of our adopted schools. The importance of that, being on that PTA, is we're talking to the parents and the children. Again, recognize the concerns. If we have a child that's in school suspension on a regular basis, or if that kid they're absent a lot, instead of waiting until it gets to that point, and I'm having to get them out of jail as a bail bondsman, let's go ahead and deal with those concerns now. And maybe, just maybe, there's some issues at home. The last piece is affordable housing. That's key to me. That's real important, because the prices of houses are not coming down. Interest rates, more than likely, not in my lifetime or yours, will come back to 3%. So there's some things that the government, local developers and builders and real estate agents, we can all work together to get these prices down to increase our tax base. That's it. March the 4th, be sure everybody get out and vote. Getting us registered to vote, I don't think that's no longer a real issue. Us going out and actually putting in the work, showing them at the polls is what it's about. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Oh, I'm live. Okay, I'm back. Listen, guys, we have had a great conversation today. Mr. Joe Eatmon gave his platform. He's a candidate for District 1 Tuscaloosa City Council. And then we close it out with Mr. Eric Gaines, District 6 Tuscaloosa City Council candidate. You heard their platforms. You know who they are. So now if you see them in the street, see them in the store, or Winn-Dixie, Joe said he was a freezer manager, so he might be in Winn-Dixie. He used to be a freezer manager. He might be in Winn-Dixie somewhere buying some groceries. So if you see Joe, holler at him. Eric is a real estate agent. He's all over Tuscaloosa. He loves Waffle House. So if you see him at Waffle House, corner him and start asking some questions. These are two capable candidates that will be able to hopefully transform this city to the future. So that's our show. Guys, we thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, we're going to have guests. We're going to put that out later in the week, so you'll be able to tune in. I need you to like and share this post on Facebook. I need you to like and subscribe to our YouTube page. Go over there right now. When we get through, go over there to YouTube, Rodney Pelt Sr. YouTube page. I put the link up in a little bit so you can see it. Go to subscribe to our page. Let's get them numbers up. Let's run them numbers up. And lastly, information is power, people. You have to understand that information is powerful. Like Eric said, it's okay to register to vote. We need every 18-year-old to register when they turn 18, and ones that haven't registered, we need you to register to vote. But more importantly is information. Know why you're voting and know who you're voting for. Know why you're voting for that person. Do they meet your ideals and your standards? Do they have a vision that you see that combines with your vision for the city or your district? If they do, vote for them. If they don't, find a candidate that does. It's time out for putting people in office that don't deserve to be in there. It's time out for putting people in office that just trying to get a check or just trying to put a check mark on their resume. It's time to put people in office that's going to be a benefit to our communities, not only in the short term, but in the long term also. So thank you for listening, and don't vote for your friends, vote for your future. It's Kitchen Table Conversations. We'll see y'all next Monday, 8 o'clock, right here.